What's good, everybody? What is good, everybody? Two Young Pastors podcast here. My name is Juwan Sanders, and I'm joined by my friend, my brother, my fellow pastor, Pastor Elijah Stanley. And we are here yet once again with another
Mhm.
hotel video because we are still in our camp pitch week, getting ready for camp meeting, getting ready for camp meeting. And listen, y'all, we have a very exciting episode, very exciting episode. It's one of our
Yeah,
shorter ones, but we are feeling excited. And here's the premise behind it, right?
tell
Um,
us.
Earlier this year, Elijah and I, we had our second singles night.
Mhm.
It's a night where we help individuals who are single um, kind of sort of understand how to better navigate the dating landscape.
Right.
Um, and there's a number of things that we kind of sort of noticed. With there are some observations that we made for from having um, two singles nights 2 years in a row. And so we wanted to talk about this because we understand how relevant um, dating is for so many individuals, no matter how
Mhm.
young you are, no matter how old you are. Dating is always so important. So we wanted to make sure that we gave you five reasons as to why many individuals are still single today.
Yeah.
And so Elijah, can you start us off with why you think individuals are still single?
Man, this one I think has been used a lot, but I think it's super relevant. I think the number
Yeah.
one reason you're still single is because you're too picky.
Oof.
Um, you're
Oof.
you're
Oof.
you're
Oof.
you're just too picky. I mean, I'm talking about if if you're able to find someone that has the same values as you, same
Yeah.
principles, and you're attracted to them, I feel like that's enough to go out on a first date. Like, that's enough to at least give them a shot,
Yeah.
text them, maybe grab some coffee. It doesn't have to be dinner, right? Go on a walk. Like,
Yeah.
that is enough to kickstart something because there's too many times where we're like, that, they like me too much. Bro, I've like like I've heard like people say that person likes me too much and I don't want to hurt them in case things go wrong. That's not a valid reason. Like, I'm sorry to like burst someone's bubble, but you're being too picky. Find uh, uh, a good reason to say no to someone because there are bad
Yeah.
reasons to say no to someone.
Yeah.
So that's the first one, man. Individuals are just too picky in the way that they are trying to find a person to date and be in a relationship with, man.
Yeah, man. I agree. And I remember because we did a dating game that night, and some of the answers that certain individuals were giving, it was kind of sort of just like, who are you looking for? Who are you looking
Yeah,
for, man?
yeah.
And so, yeah, I really see that. But something else that I kind of sort of gleaned from that night um, is the fact that one, there were a whole lot more women than men present,
Mhm.
right? I would probably say it was an 8 to 1, 8 to 2, or maybe of a 7 to 3 like ratio, right? But no, I would say 8 to 2. For every 8 women, there were probably 2 men present,
There were
right?
a whole lot of women.
Like, yeah. And I think what this kind of sort of showed me is that this type of event is more important to women than it is to men. And
Mhm.
see, I think that a second reason why many individuals are still single is because of competing priorities. Competing priorities. I think that um, we are socialized as men and women to like prioritize different things.
Mhm.
And what's interesting is that when I talked to a couple of guys after the event, and I asked, "Hey, how come you didn't show up?" They were just like, "Oh man, I didn't really think I needed to." Like that's not my focus. I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm doing my thing. And if a woman comes along, I'm cool. Like we can see how it shake up, see what it do. But like the reality is I think that women have been socialized to look for the relationship and to look for the marriage more so than men have. And
Right.
so when you have, let's say, men who are more so looking to get their careers going and get their names out there, whereas women are socialized to get the family life at home going and
Mm-hmm.
making sure that they have that marriage that they've been dreaming of for several decades, maybe. I think that it contributes to the conflicting dynamics, the conflicting priorities that are present between both men and women. And so when I think of another reason why individuals are single, it's definitely because of competing priorities amongst the sexes. So
That's
yeah,
good.
what about you
That's
though?
good.
What's your third one?
Man, before my third one, bro, I was thinking about how you were uh that evening, how you
Yeah,
said, and we kind of did a poll, right, of the people there of saying, hey, a if you were interested in someone, and we kind of polled the ladies that night, right? And then we said, hey, would you feel awkward, right, if a man came up to you and approached you, right? And then
mm,
most of them said like no, right? Like I wouldn't feel weird about it. And then we did kind of put some confide and said, you don't want to go up to someone and then say, hey, God told me
yeah,
that I
true.
that you're gonna be my wife, right? Like there's some weird stuff not to do.
Yes,
And but a majority of them, of the ladies, were like, "Hey, we would not feel weird if a man approached me, right,
yeah,
and asked me for my number, or was very forward." And a lot of them, right, even afterwards, saying, like, "Hey, like I prefer," right. And then even on the flip side of it, right, like they said, we kind of asked the ladies, like, "Hey, would you ever go and approach a man that you're interested in?"
yeah,
Right? And and that was a little bit more of a mixed reaction, where they said, like, a few were like, "Oh, I'm not sure if I'd ever go because I expect the guy to come and ask me," right?
yeah,
And that kind of like goes back to what you were saying about like conflicting priorities of like, hey, uh, you're seeing that the population that you're attracted to is pretty being nonchalant about
yeah,
going out and dating. That means
yeah,
that if you want to be in a relationship, you got to go out and you got to put your foot forward first,
yeah,
because they're kind of just in the background being like, oh, like I don't want to be engaged until I find someone I'm attracted to. But that, dude, goes right into the next thing.
yeah,
Is guys are so focused on just attraction being the number one
mhm,
thing, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to be engaged with someone until I'm attracted to them." And I get
mm,
that to a certain level. I get it. But the problem that a lot of us are still single is because we have no standard, bro.
oof,
And and, and
oof,
and being attracted to someone is one of many things. It's not
yeah,
the only thing. And
yeah.
a lot of us are getting that confused. Yeah.
And can you just clarify when you say attraction? Can you break down what you mean by that? Because I think that
Yeah.
different people will like come to different or different people have different definitions of that word.
Right, right. And we actually talked about this too, to clarify for this episode. But your first level of attraction generally, right, is you being physically attracted to someone on the outside, right? There might be appearances or features that you have that someone might find attractive. But then there are more things that you can be attracted to. Like I recently found out, right,
Yeah.
that I'm attracted to ladies, right, that are kind, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
like like I
Praise
am
God.
attracted, right? Yo,
Much better than being attracted to women who are mean. My God.
that's real too. Like I'm just
Yeah.
attracted, and I'm also attracted to people that are confident. Like I'm attracted to
That's good.
women that are confident, that can stand up and say, "Hey, this is what I want and this is what I don't want." And then
Yeah.
I will sometimes take the back seat and let them drive and be like, "Hey, like go ahead, you figure it out and you tell me
Yeah.
how I can help you in accomplishing this," right? So when we're talking about attractiveness, it's personality, it's the way that they walk, the way that they talk. It doesn't always just have to be, oh, they look good in a dress, they look good in heels, they look good. That's just a part of it. But
Yeah.
the problem that a lot of us don't don't um
Address.
apart right is we have and only limited our standards to, are they attractive to me? Is their
True.
personality, is their body attractive to me? And not
Yeah.
realizing that a lot of the relationships, man, that I've seen break apart and even my own in the past is
Yeah.
because attractiveness was the first thing. And
Hmm.
then I thought about values. And then I thought
Hmm.
about, well, do they prioritize God in the same way that I do? Is family on the top of the list and
Hmm.
not their job, right? So if you're only solely attracted to someone, but then you prioritize family and they don't, you're going to have issues and it's
Hmm.
not going to be a successful relationship, man. So like, have you seen those things where like people just get in trouble because they have no standards?
I have. I have. I have. And I think I'm trying to think of a movie. I'm trying to think of a movie. Have you ever seen Superbad? Have you ever seen
Yeah.
Superbad?
Yeah.
I think McLovin is a perfect example of an individual who did not have like standards, but I think that their entire friend group didn't have standards because they were not actually confident in who they were.
Yeah.
And so like if you are an individual who typically like is just grateful that anyone finds you attractive or that
Right.
anyone is interested in you, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be thinking, well, do these individuals meet these standards? Are they checking off these boxes here or checking off these boxes there? You're just grateful that anyone at all is finding you attractive, which lets you know that if you are an insecure person, if you're not comfortable in yourself, then you have a problem. Then you have a problem all in
Mm,
yourself. But
mm,
that those are my thoughts. And I guess to be honest, this can kind of sort of lead me into like number four. Number
yeah.
four. Um, here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm realizing. Like as you can say what you will, but one of the things that I think we even saw prevailing in the singles night that we hosted is the problem that we were taught that relationships are supposed to look a certain way. And we were taught that we as men and we as individuals as women, they were taught that in order to be a man, in order to be a woman, you have to display certain characteristics or have certain markers that kind of sort of qualify you to be a certain type of woman or a certain type of man. And you have certain concepts and terms like the high value man or the high value
Mm,
women, that's kind of sort of determined based on what type of job do you have,
yeah.
what, and not only what type of job do you have, but um, how many, what, like, what's the pay range? What's your salary? Is it six figures?
What's your
Do you
income?
own
Yeah.
your own house? Do you own your own car?
Hmm.
Like, what type of education do you have?
Right.
How fit are you? Are like how tall are you? These things. What type of clothes do you wear? What brands is it? And see, what I'm realizing is that a lot of the things that influence how we show up, especially as men, as women, as daters, right, is the patriarchy. The fourth reason that I think individuals are still single to this day is because the patriarchy has really caused us to not understand the value in who we really are. See,
Yeah.
this is what I've learned. Like the patriarchy doesn't teach us to value men. The patriarchy teaches us to value and uplift manhood. And it
Yeah.
teaches us to uplift a certain type of manhood. And I'm not trying to get on my leftist box here, but I recognize that like there's a certain type of man that we have been fed is the type who's supposed to get the good looking girl and who is supposed to have the fairy tale ending. It's not individuals who are shorter. It's not individuals who have the typical job, the teacher. right? It's the
Mhm.
individuals who are the CEO, it's the individuals who run the company, who is the quote unquote alpha. And what this teaches us is that if you do not check off certain boxes that the patriarchy told you you're supposed to check off as a man, then you're less of a man. And
Yes.
so what's interesting is that a lot of times, women are taught and socialized to go after certain types of men. They're taught to go after the tall man. They're taught to go after the man who can not just take care of themselves, but that will also take care of you, that will take you out on a first date where they're spending $500 to $1,000 on you. And see, if they don't do these things, then does he really care about you? Is he really worth it? And see, I think that it causes us to have unrealistic expectations that really get in the way. And so I
Mm.
think that,
Yeah.
patriarchy is really something that gets in the way. I don't know if you remember, bro, but one of the questions that I asked, hey, who do you think is supposed to approach who first? And everyone said, it's the man.
The
It's the
guy. Yeah.
man. And here's the thing, if that's something that you want, cool, cool, cool. If that's something that you want, that's not a problem. But I want you to understand that the reason why you think that a man should approach you first is not based on anything outside of patriarchy. Like patriarchy is really what controls so much of the dating culture, and it influences so much. And so I think that sometimes we get caught up in some of the ideologies that we have indirectly accepted based on the movies that we watch, the TV shows that exist, maybe even some of the things that have crept into our churches. And I believe that it has set us up for failure. And that's the fourth reason why individuals are still single. What about
Yeah,
you?
man. We were talking about that as we were going through and finding the five different reasons that we think individuals are still single, man. And when we came to this one in particular, right? Like we actually walked through it and we talked through it, and you could see it in a lot of the way that people value and the standards that they have. The standard really is this media person personality that has kind of been fed to us, which is high achieving individual, both a man and a woman, right? And if you want to be a power couple, the power couple looks like a certain way, right?
Yeah.
And they both have to be high achievers in this and that. And sometimes it looks like one person being at home and one person being out at work, and it looks like having a G wagon, right? Like there are certain things that have been fed into us that we just need to be aware of that does not set us up for success because it just makes it harder. And just the fifth one, bro. And then I think let's give maybe like a hey, here's a tip in maybe combating this at the very end. How about that, bro?
Yeah.
Because there's five reasons why you're single and maybe one or two reasons how you kind of fight against it.
Yeah.
The fifth reason that we kind of talked through of why you're still single at home as you're listening to this, and is because you're insecure. You are insecure. You are insecure, and the reason that I'm using that pronoun, you're insecure, is because Juwan and I, well, at least I'm dating someone, and Jawan has a fiance. So I can say your. The reason that we came to this conclusion, the, re- the
Mercy,
reason
Lord. Mercy.
the reason that we could come to this conclusion of insecurity, bro, is it was really put on display that evening in the singles night where we had talked through, bro, all the different ways that individuals can approach someone. And we had gone through literally the men and the women that were there, saw other individuals' hands go up and said, I am not afraid to be approached by someone tonight. Right. And at the end of the night, I was kind of going around and seeing, like what was, happening, who had approached who. And people were still feeling shy and lacking the confidence, even after seeing physical hands going up and saying, I would like to be approached by somebody.
Yeah.
And that was kind of hard to see because we had people on stage saying, hey, literally the person next to you would not mind if you asked them for
Yeah.
their number if they're
Yeah.
interested in you. And
That's
people
right.
were not confident enough, even after seeing the hand go up, to go and approach them. And I got to say, I can relate to that, and I shared it that night too, right? Like I did not have enough confidence in who I was to then
Mm.
go out, right? And it comes a little bit out of insecurity. And even to this day, right? Like I hear like my friends say, "Hey, bro, like there were some people interested in you, in college, right?" And I said, "Who would be interested in me in college?" And that comes out of
Mercy. Mercy.
me being like
Insecurity.
insecure, and then saying,
Yeah.
"Oh wow, I guess I was putting out something that individuals were attracted to, and I didn't even
Yeah.
know it." So the fifth reason, man, that we think you're still single as you're listening to this, if you are, is because you're insecure and you have a bit more confidence in who you are and how God has made you. But bro, before we end this, maybe
Mhm.
we'll give a tip, bro, of putting one thing into action
Yeah.
to get them out of their singleness if they're dating.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if you already thought of yours, but I think the thing that's coming to my head right now is really learning to embrace all of you, and all the things that make you you.
Mhm.
I think that insecurity piece is so real. It's so real, and I think that to a certain extent, many of us have insecurities that we don't address, and some of us are blessed that we're in a context where our insecurities can't be put on display. Some of us got the big paying job to cover up the fact that you felt like you weren't enough when you didn't have it.
Mhm.
Some individuals get their bodies um, worked on, because they were ashamed of certain assets that they didn't have, or that they thought were too much, and so they get things reduced or increased. And so what I'm learning is that individuals really just need to learn how to embrace who they are, what they
Mhm.
are, and what they have, you know, so that they can indeed um, truly have those
Yeah.
standards that make sense. In this
Yeah.
way, you won't be too picky, and you also won't have no standards whatsoever. But you'll have
Yeah.
like this good balance of being in between. And so that's what I would say. Would you like to add anything? Yours?
Man, it just be available. Like be
Mhm.
available. Like you are not that busy to not go out and get coffee. You are not that
Yeah,
busy not to just go on a walk with somebody. Be available. If someone
yeah,
walks into your life and says, "Hey, I think you're interesting and I find you attractive and I would
yeah,
love to take you out on a date," be available. Cancel on your friends if you can and go out with the person and just be available because it's hard. It's hard already finding someone and then you not being willing to move things around, you're just making it hard for yourself. So just be available and make that space in your life. If it's something you're prioritizing, actually prioritize it in your dating life, and then you'll probably be finding yourself going on more first dates and more dates in general, and then you can build up your confidence. Just saying, "Wow, I had I went on 5 dates this month and I went on 0 last month," right? I know that that helped me building up my confidence, when I was walking through dating, man. I just became more available to all the
mm,
individuals that were interested in me. But
for sure.
bro, 5 reasons why you're still single and 2
Yeah,
ways to get out of it,
yeah,
uh, in your dating life, bro. I think this was a great episode.
certainly. I agree. I agree. I agree. And listen, if you are interested in hearing more from us, you know, we're two young pastors, Jawan, Elijah, two great young pastors, and we have a lot of potential in us. I like to brag. I like to brag on us. I like to brag
It's
on
like,
us. Okay, I like to brag on us because we know what God has put inside of us, right?
hey,
But reality is you know, if you're interested in the content that we're creating, we just want to ask that you subscribe. If you've been blessed by what we have shared, we just want to ask that you share it, and we also ask that you just leave a like or some form of way to help the algorithm so that more people can indeed see this video. So
yes.
thank y'all so much for tuning in, and we hope to see y'all next time.
All right, y'all.
Peace.